Okay, let's talk about logical entailment. A definition: the set of sentences delta logically entails a sentence psi if and only if every truth assignment that satisfies all the sentences in delta also satisfies psi. Okay, we need an example, so let's look at an example. Let's take two logic sentences, phi 1, which is P implies Q, an implication, and phi 2, which is Q implies R, another implication. I'm going to define the set of those two sentences as delta. Again, I'm using the terminology from the book, and sometimes students get a little bit lost with the terminology, so I'm trying to incorporate it here as much as I can consistently. We use an uppercase Greek letter delta to represent a set of sentences, and each logic sentence is represented by a subscripted lowercase Greek letter, in this case phi 1 and phi 2. Okay, enough of that. I've got two sentences, phi 1 and phi 2, and they form together a set. And I have a third sentence, psi, which is P implies R. So the question that by the way, I have a truth table that I've built for these sentences. Phi 1, the three propositions here, P, Q, and R, that make up all three sentences. The truth column is for phi 1, phi 2, and psi. Okay, so the question that we might ask ourselves is, does this set of sentences delta, consisting of phi 1 and phi 2, entail psi? This little symbol right here, the laying over pi, or sometimes people call it the turnstile symbol, that means entails. So we're really asking, does delta entail psi? Okay, so how do we answer that using a truth table? Well, before I even look at the truth table thinking, what we're really asking when we say, does delta entail psi, is this. If delta is true, that is to say, if every sentence in delta is true, does that guarantee us that psi will be true? Or put into more precise language, if delta is satisfied, which means if every sentence in delta is simultaneously satisfied, then does that guarantee us that psi will be satisfied? Well, how do we find that out from a truth table? Okay, so in each case that satisfies all the sentences comprising delta, is psi also satisfied? Let's take a look. Here's one of the cases where delta is satisfied. Here's another case, a third and a fourth case. So if you'll notice, out of the 8 cases, 4 of them have delta being satisfied, or another way to say that is, in 4 cases, both phi 1 and phi 2 are simultaneously satisfied. Case 2 doesn't count because phi 1 is satisfied but not phi 2, and case 3 doesn't count because phi 1 is not satisfied although phi 2 is, and so forth. You have to have them both satisfied to qualify as delta being satisfied. So the question is, in each of those cases, is psi satisfied? And the answer is pretty easy when you look at the truth table. Yes. Just look at them. Every time these two are satisfied, that's also satisfied. So what does that mean? Simple. We conclude that delta entails psi. Now there's going to be some really important implications for that as we move forward into new chapters. But right now it seems a pretty simple question to ask if we have a truth table in front of us. And luckily we know how to make truth tables. So there it is. The answer is, I'd say, almost too easy.